Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Sal Galvano from Monroe Community College. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So you're up in Rochester, New York. It's probably a little cooler there than it is down here in Florida today.
Not too much. We're in the 90s, man. It's
wow.
hot for us right now. Yeah.
Well, okay, then you're right there with us. How about that? Well, you guys are a junior college up there. Excuse me. And wow, there we go. So let's talk a little bit about the recruiting side, because junior college recruiting is a lot tougher than the 4-year, because you're reloading twice as fast. So give me a little insight into how your recruiting works in terms of, when do you start talking to players? When do players commit? Kind of what does that calendar look like for you?
So, I mean, as you said, we replenish our roster every year, or I want to say at least 50% of our roster. Like, we're bringing in this year about 15 players, and on average, it's between 10 to 15 players every year that we're recruiting. I have a lot of friends that are coaching in the Pac-12, Big 12. And, I've had conversations with them that they started at JUCO level coaching. I'm like, what's the difference between, recruiting at our level and theirs? He goes, you honestly have it a lot harder. He goes, I can concentrate on 3 or 4 players that I really need. He goes, but you have to replenish and, go 10 plus every year. I'm like, that's true. Our recruiting starts, it's year round. If you're a good coach, you're recruiting year round and never stops. Even the big programs, they just don't stop recruiting, right? But we recruit all over. In my program, we have 6 internationals from Spain, Germany, and England that are coming in this upcoming fall. We recruit from everywhere, though, all over the states. I've had Florida players. I've had players from the surrounding states of Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, Ohio. So we go all over to recruit. We don't just recruit locally. Although, of course, 50% of our roster is local, right? Because we're a junior college, and this is a great avenue for a lot of those players to maybe they didn't get the looks they wanted out of high school or their club program. So they'll come here and they know we're a nationally renowned program. And we get looked at. We have players from all over that or go on to big time levels. And we have them go Division 1, 2, Division 3. We find the right program that is right for those players. But all year we recruit, and we can sign players as of November 1st. I think we hooked on with what the NCAA Division 1 programs do. I think theirs got moved up to November 1st as well. But ours is November 1st. So, I mean, we sign players for the upcoming year from November. I mean, November is usually really, really soon for us to even sign players, because we're always, and I know it's the nature of our beast. Sometimes they're waiting for that offer. So we're kind of like the I don't want to say second or third option, but they wait to see if they can go to that 4-year option first, which I'm okay with it. I've been doing this for over 25 years, so I know the nature of the beast, right? But for the most part, by February, March, we're done. We're done recruiting for that year. We get some stragglers in April and May. Yeah, if there's still scholarships available, but I try to lock in my players as soon as I can.
Well, and I'm going to jump around here, but because you said the word scholarship makes me want to ask this now. But, I think it's one of the biggest things folks don't understand is the level of scholarship money available at the junior college level. So can you talk about, junior college being a great option, especially for saving money? Can you just talk about what's available on the athletic scholarship side, on the academic scholarship side? What's a student typically going to walk away paying while they're at Monroe?
Well, obviously it depends on the school and where you're at, because like for us, we're probably on a little more on the expensive side for out-of-state players than in-state players, or compared to state you're in. Mississippi, for example, for their junior colleges is dirt cheap to go to school there, a lot cheaper than here. And sometimes I've lost players to those colleges. They may not be at the level that we're at, but they're financially so much more affordable than us without any scholarships. We do have some scholarships. We're a Division 1 junior college. As I said, we're for the most part, always in the top 10 in junior college, and we compete for the national title every year. We're not as funded as others junior colleges, so we fundraise a whole lot to try to close that gap. But our facilities are amazing. We have, I mean, the only time I've seen an in-ground hot tub, cold tub was when I went to the Real Madrid Bernabeu Stadium. I mean, we have a 10-person in-ground hot tub and cold tub. It's the metal tubs. We have those. Our athletic facilities are great. We have a MLS Next Pro team. Sorry if it gets loud. My door's kind of propped open and there's camps going on here. We have an MLS Next Pro team that's playing at our stadium, and they upgraded it with lights, 1,500 seats. So it's our stadium is state of the art right now, better than a lot of junior colleges, and probably better than a lot of at least within a 50-mile radius or a couple of hour radius for us with Division I, II schools that are in our area. So scholarships we do offer. So Division I, for like we can offer full scholarships, tuition, housing, food, books, and fees. Division II can only offer tuition and fees. Obviously in Division III, they can't offer anything. So for us, we do really well with budgeting our money and getting players that can afford a budget to come, especially with the budget that we have for scholarships. So we try to do the best we can to kind of help out. Again, most of our players here have to pay something. So for us, financially, with no scholarships in state, you're looking at about $12,000 to go to school here, which is reasonable compared to a lot of the 4 years. You're paying 40 to 50 plus thousand to go to school. And then if you are on scholarship, you're going to pay between, I'd say from coming here for free to about 8 to 10,000. We wager that on a lot of things. When I recruit, we do our homework. We look at social media. We look at, we talk to your coaches. We talk to your club coaches. We see how you interact with family members. We look at every aspect of it when we recruit, and that's kind of how it's not just on how good you are, because we want good people in our program, right? So, and does every coach. So those are things that we look at, and we make sure that they're the right fit for us, no matter what the talent level is.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, you mentioned a little bit just now, but what are some of those key factors, whether they're on the field attributes or off the field attributes, that you're making sure you see, and what are the tournaments or places, camps, anything that you go to see that in a player?
Sure. So for me, the most important thing is, are they good people by, seeing their interaction with their parents? I think that that's huge, because if they can respect their parents, then they're going to be respectful here. Although there's been times where I've seen it where they respect their coach more than they do their parents. They come here, they're totally different. They're like, I listen to coach more. And it maybe is because we control their playing time. I don't know. So, but for the most part, if, we see their interaction, we see the families they come from. When we talk to their coaches, how are they coachable? Or are they always giving attitude with everything that they're doing? Those, I think, are the key factors. We also we'll do some research on social media. What are you posting? I think that that's a big thing, because that'll really, as I always tell my players here when we have our season beginning meeting, is that social media is the best thing in the world and the worst thing in the world. So we kind of look at it and say, what are you posting? Post things that are not, that are going to show you in a positive light. And most of the players that we recruit do those kind of things. And again, we easily scratch off players that we see that are not doing the right things, that we feel are the right things, being, good in the community, or, we ask what, the one question I always ask of my recruits is, what's one thing that you had to overcome, either on the field or off the field? And that kind of tells me what kind of person they are. As far as tournaments, I go overseas as well. So I'll go to a lot of the showcases in Europe. Locally, I'll hit up for us, more geographic, I'll hit up the EDP tournaments. I'll hit up. There's a bunch in Ohio that I'll go to tournaments there. Most of it though is through contacts, locally, domestic and internationally. And I've met so many people on both markets that we have a good understanding and uh, of what players I want. And if they've sent me players in the past, I'll always compare. Hey, you know, Jane, I like the way Jane played. I need something similar or better to what that player was, and that gives them that standard of what we're looking for. So there's, you know, I don't. There's not one stone that gets unturned for me when I'm recruiting.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the big deals about players going to junior colleges, a lot of times they're looking to use that as a developmental tool or a stepping stone to go on to a 4-year university and play, or to looking at other options once their 2 years are done with you. So what does that process look like? How successful have your players been at doing whatever they want to do when their time is done at Monroe?
Sure. I've been, as I said, I've coached junior college my whole career. So I've been in Texas, I was in Arizona, and now I'm back home for me in New York, and I've been here for 15 years. And through my years of coaching all over the country, I've met a lot of Division I, II coaches, which I'm still in contact with, even if they are bouncing around from college to college, and they know the level of players that we produce, that I produce. And so helping these players out, we open up a lot of doors that they may not have had prior to, you know, or through their club or high school that they didn't get the look. So they come here knowing that we will open up, you know, they may have A, B, and C, but we'll have X, Y, Z schools that will also look at them. We have, you know, I've had multiple players past probably 7 years that have gone on to play pro and their national team. Perfect example right now, as we spoke earlier prior to getting on, is I have a player, Kumba So, that played here 2 years, was on the Swiss national team before she got to me, was here for 2 years, then went to Big 12 at Oklahoma State. And now she's back on the Switzerland national team and she's a starting attacking center mid, trailing forward player, and scored I think the first goal in the first 2 minutes against Portugal. So, you know, that's an example. I have another one that just recently, 2 years ago, was with us, broke our goal scoring record. She's on got called up to the Nigerian national team and is playing pro she just signed with Club Brugge. She was in Spain and now there. I have a few Greek national team players. My former assistant is actually the Greek national team women's coach. So we've got connections all over. So it's been nice. So getting them moved on, I have coaches and contacts at all levels. So it's easy for me to even call a coach, be like, you know, or coaches will call me, be like, what do you have? I need this type of player, or I need this position. Do you have anything? Because through the years we've had, you know, contact, and they know that I'm not just going to send them any player. I'll send the right caliber player to that level of coach where they're playing or they're coaching at.
No, that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. You know, folks may think that, you know, junior college, your every day is different than a 4-year, or maybe not. I don't know, but you know, can you just walk me through what does a typical day look like in terms of practice, class time, tournaments? What does that typical week look like when you're in season?
Sure. So I'm also the success coach here. So I deal with the academic side of things. So I don't just deal with the soccer side, which sometimes that's the best part of the day, right? When we're dealing with the soccer side. But academically, we have over 60 majors. And the first 2 years, to be honest, it doesn't really matter where you go. If you go to a 4-year or a 2-year, it's the same classes. You're taking the Englishes, your maths, your sciences. And although at a 4-year, they may spread them out within the 4 years, you just get them done your first 2 years here, it's great. So, but we also concentrate on whatever major you're wanting to do. As I said, we have, I'd say, about 60 majors. So we pretty much have everything under the sun that you have to do your intro classes for those majors that you would take at the 4-year level. Instead of spending 40, 50 grand, you're here spending, you know, 10 to 15, which is nice. As far as once, you know, preseason starts for us first week in August. So we start next week. So the first 3 weeks, you're basically, and this is mostly all junior colleges, you're a professional soccer player. That's the way I tell my recruits. You're going to be a professional soccer player for 3 weeks because there's no school. You're just playing soccer. You're getting up, playing soccer. You may have a session, maybe 2 on the first week or 2, and then we trickle it down. But you'll have weightlifting in there once school starts. There's weightlifting. There's study halls to make sure. Obviously, no grades, no play. Bottom line, that's just it doesn't matter what level you're playing at. Once school starts, classes for us are in the morning. So between 9 and noon, 1 o'clock are your classes. We train 1 to 3. So we try, personally, I try getting everyone's classes done by noon every day. We'll go, depending on if we just played a game or not, we may have a video session 12 to 1, 1 to 2, or 1 to 3 is training. And then right after training, we'll have weight training 2 days a week. That's usually what our normal day looks like. With us, I control a lot of our game schedule. So I try to get our games on weekends. So more of a traditional, and this is where the Europeans kind of like it more. You train during the week, and then weekends are game days. Mondays, for the most part, because we play on the weekend, and you being a college coach before, sometimes you're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending, or Friday, Sunday if we're home. Mondays is our day off and recovery day. So it's their day to kind of catch up with classwork, homework, recovery on their body. Our weight our athletic trainers here for their recovery days as well. So typically, 9 mornings classes, mid-afternoon are practices, and then like later afternoons, 3 to 4 are weight training days on 2 days a week.
Okay. Well, in terms of the soccer side of things, and we talked a little bit about earlier, but is there a specific roster size that you're trying to hit every year?
I mean, ideally, I like 23, 24 players, because there's always injuries. We're such a short, it's a short, long season, because that's the way college soccer works, right? And because we're playing so many games in a short season, there's always injuries. So we need to have that depth. This year, we're a little more. Recruiting was better than expected. So we're about 27 players, and I feel confident with what we have coming in. But 23, 24 is ideal for me. We're not a school that is pressuring us to have more numbers just for numbers' sake. So they allow us to just do what we need to do. And I like quality over quantity.
Yeah, no, that's great. How would you describe your kind of style of coaching and the team style of play?
I'm very European style. Like, growing up in Italy, I'm not a defensive guy. I'm a forward at heart, so I attack, and I'll win by the sword and lose by the sword all the time, because I'll either score more goals or I'll give up because we've got numbers up. I'm a possession style, but with purpose. I like to attack with numbers, but our training is very, very small-sided, high pressure, high intensity, very compact spaces. So when we play in the big field, it's that much easier to make decisions. I try to enhance them to make decisions quicker by playing in tight spaces. I think that is, but we don't play long ball. I can't stand long ball. I'm a very, I like to knock the ball around with purpose to make things happen. We use everybody on the field, and I want my keeper to be involved just as much. So even if we play out of the back, we're using our every player on the field.
Okay. Well, what about staff? What does your staff look like? Whether it's just the soccer specific staff or the athletic department staff, anybody that's kind of helping the team, and what role does everybody play?
So my staff, again, I'm not a goalkeeper. So when I first got the job, the first person that I recruited was a goalkeeper coach. I think goalkeepers, a lot of times at a lot of schools, even high school club, because I've coached club before, they kind of get pushed to the side. So for me, a goalkeeper coach is very, very important, and always it has been. So I have one person that just deals with goalkeepers. Although the coach that I have has professional background in Brazil, even here in the States. great guy. So Goalkeeper Coach, I have another coach that has experience with field players. This year, we actually now have a contract with Huddle. So I'm bringing in basically a performance analysis or video analysis guy to help me with that part of it. And we're a little different as well. Like I try to differentiate our program. So we have GPS monitors as well. So I bought every one of our kids when we train. I mean, it's awesome. Like, the pros use it. And I was like, why not try to see if we can fundraise for it? And a number of years ago, I was able to raise enough to get it. And let me tell you, the performance at practices is risen, at games it's risen because of the GPS. We can pull it up and see how many miles they ran during practice or a game, how fast they're going. It's amazing, that technology. And I'm bringing in someone this year that's their main goal, or their main responsibility is to keep me posted on who's working hard. Do we need to back off on someone that's working hard for injury reasons? Video analysis, where when they're looking at it, even during game day at halftime, they're going to be like, okay, hey, we're getting exploited here, or this is what we see from above, and video and all that. So that's our staff. As far as academic stuff, we have 3 of us that are success coaches: myself, our baseball coach, and our men's basketball coach. We all help out, and we have 14 sports at our school, and we split them up, and we deal with their academics. If they need help with financial aid, if they need help with transferring, that we help out in tutoring, especially if they have issues with classes. That's part of our job as well. So as an athletic department, there's a lot of help here to make sure that our student athletes are very, very successful on and off the field. Because on the field and in the classroom, really. But we make sure we try to do the best we can. Again, we're not, we don't have like a strength and conditioning coach like 4-year schools do, which sometimes I wish we did. But we have a full-time athletic trainer. We have good staff here for a junior college.
No, that sounds like it. It's amazing. Well, Coach, we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about a lot of different things, but I always like to end these the same way, and that's what didn't we talk about? What else would you like to discuss, whether it's off the field, on the field, school related, anything about the recruitment process, or anything of that nature? Now's your time.
Yeah. So the only thing I would say is that, junior college is a great avenue for all players. You can't just look at Division 1 or 2 or bust. We're a great avenue to open up more doors for you to go on to that next level. We open up a lot more doors, and it's a great area or a great place where you get experience, you can get exposure, and lots of exposure. There's, as you said it before, being a Division 2 coach, where you do go to junior college and to recruit players. And I think what I've heard from a lot of coaches is the reason they like recruiting at the junior college level is now you're getting players that have experience playing. They can come in and be impact players right away. And they have already that academic background of what it means to be a student athlete at the college level or the collegiate level. So I think that those are the big getaway, the takeaways that I think people should look at when looking at college recruiting. Don't just, be like, I can only go Division 1, because that's the one thing I always, and hate's a strong word, I hate it when I hear recruiters, especially the internationals, like, oh, that kid, this player is only going Division 1. Or they'll send me players because of grades that their junior college players. They're like, oh, this kid can only go junior college. I'm like, this player is not even the caliber we're even close to looking at. We look at the same players that NCAA Division 1 looks at because of the caliber of our program. We're an established junior college where Pac-12, Big 12, ACC will look at our programs and players. And again, as I said, in my program, and I know I'm not the only junior college program that has had players go on to play professional in Europe, being on national teams. There's other programs that have done that. So junior college is a great way to also be exposed, because we get a lot of internationals, to get exposed to different cultures and different playing styles.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
I think for me, those are the big takeaways when parents are looking at junior college or just the recruiting process as a whole, is look at all levels and what, you know, ask those questions. Where do your players go on after there? You know, I think that that's the big thing to see. Are they going on scholarship? As most of my players will find a place, and we open up scholarship offers. You know, I'm very, and most coaches are very ethical, and they're like, we don't want to look at your freshman. And for me, is if you want a freshman and you're looking at them, they're here for that scholarship offer. Are you offering a good enough scholarship for them to leave? I'm open to it, because then I did my job by opening up that door for them to move on, because that's really our main objective here at the junior college level. Like, do we want to win? Yes, but can we push these players on to the NCAA or NAI level on scholarship at a good level, where they're playing at a good level and getting a great academic experience? I think those are the main things I want parents to really understand, that junior college is sometimes better than a lot of four-year programs in level of competition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely an untapped, underserved market, and hopefully interviews like this will help folks really kind of open up their perspective and look at them as an option. So, Coach, wish you the best of luck in this upcoming season. Really appreciate the time, and if you ever get down to Bradenton, for IMG Cup or ECNL events or anything like that, give me a shout, and we'll grab a cup of coffee.
That sounds good. I like it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.